Hey everyone, Taco here. Welcome to part 2 of my guide. This episode will go over the proper techniques to counter tanks, each type of tank, and what you can do against them. Also, I'm going to go over some other miscellaneous tips that I couldn't cover last video because, frankly, that video was a bit too long for my taste. So I'm going to go over it here after we go over the tanks. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Tanks. Good lord, these things can be annoying. They're beefy, they're slow, they always have to show their ugly faces at the worst possible moment, and the guy driving them either has pinpoint accuracy and 5,000 service stars on the tank he probably jerks off to, or they have terrible aim and probably couldn't hit the stationary target who has autism. So while you're running about the battlefield, you're eventually going to run into these hulking beasts of metal. What can you do to annoy the ever-loving crap out of them? I liken a tank versus cavalry battle to a heavy versus scout battle in Team Fortress 2. Scout always has to keep moving and stay inside the blind spots of the heavy, because if he allows heavy to get his sights on him, he is no longer scout. He is now bullet catcher. The same goes for the cavalry. The tanks are incredibly slow and have massive amounts of firepower at their disposal. They all have their own natural blind spots and areas of attention, and as cavalrymen, we need to maximize and capitalize on these weaknesses. So let's go into depth on each of the tanks, where their blind spots are, what we can do to cripple and kill the tank, and overall how to come about attacking each and every type of tank. So let's begin. The heavy tank I would likely say is the easiest of the four to kill. Its main turret can only survey 45 degrees in front of it, which makes it really easy to avoid. It also turns around very slowly, so by the time your grenades connect, you can be gone without the driver even knowing you were there, which keeps the element of surprise still in your hands. So the tactics against the heavy tank are pretty easy to understand and do. You should flank behind it and toss your grenades at it. If you choose the sides, you will be able to disable the guns on the side. On the back, you can hinder the engine but not fully disable it like you can for the light tank. Also, you can disable the back guns, but I find this is much harder to do in practice, so I would still advise the sides or the engine in the back. You want to employ those hit and run tactics when you're fighting the heavy tank. Run in, throw your 2 grenades, and then immediately run off to safety. Once your grenades recharge, you can come back around and rinse and repeat until it's dead, or one of your friendlies finishes it off. However, if there is a dedicated gunner in the back of the tank, you should disengage immediately. I have made the mistake so many times of attacking while the back gunner is shooting at me. The back gunner gets control of 2 machine guns, which effectively doubles his firepower and damage against you. Trust me when I say this, he will tear you to shreds without mercy, so get away as far as possible and wait for him to either leave the tank or become distracted and before you attack it again. Oh boy, the light tanks. I mean, this tank is by no means hard to take out, but dang. They will make sure to take as much of you with them before they go down. And you better believe that these guys will be running the flanker variant at all times because, like, why would you not? Seriously, especially on Ballroom Blitz, I don't see any other option as even remotely as useful and good as the flanker variant, but I digress. Back to the best battlefield class ever. The light tanks got lighter armor than the heavy tank and the Landship, hence the name, the light tank. Yeah, no duh, Taco. When are you going to get to the tactics, you crusty piece of crap? As I was saying, the light tank is easier than the other tanks to kill. It is a bit faster than the heavy tank, but think of it as an upgrade from the sun becoming a red giant slow to Chernobyl becoming inhabitable again slow. The biggest problem you have to worry about as a cavalryman is that the light tank's main turret can rotate a full 360 degrees, which essentially makes it 3 times harder for you to run away, since he will have turned himself around and will be ready to blow you to kingdom come. So, I would suggest first, spot him and survey the area around him. Does he have 5 other guys around? Are there other tanks around? Are there any planes looking to make runs on you? Has he already slaughtered your entire team and is looking directly at you? These kinds of things are important before you go to attack really any tank. But once you survey the area and you feel that it is okay to attack the tank, you should come in directly behind of where his turret is facing. Example, if his turret is facing the left side, you should come in from his right side. The light tank is also the easiest tank to disable parts on. Seriously, if you don't walk away without damaging the tracks, engine, or turret, you're doing it wrong. So if you're able to disable a part, run off, wait for the grenades to recharge, yada yada yada, all that jazz. I would make expert use of your terrain around you when attacking and retreating. Use the walls, buildings, gates, sand dunes on Sinai Desert, and even your own teammates to block any incoming fire from the tank. It should take you only 2 to 3 runs with the grenades to destroy his tank, but I find that there are normally friendly assaults already lighting the tank up, so the amount of passes on the tank varies. It really isn't that much harder to take out than the Landship if you know what you're doing. Speaking of which, taking out the Landship in terms of difficulty can be a bit in between. Instead of in the front like the heavy tank, it's got its main turrets on the sides, but that can just make it even more deadly sometimes. So when you attack, you should come around the back. Coming around the back means you will have a 0% chance of being shot at from the back, since there are no guns protecting the backside unless the tank driver is running the squad support variant of the Landship, which gives him a machine gun in the back. However, I find that most of the time the drivers forget that they even have it, so most of the time you will be fine. It's just like they completely forget that they have it. But moving on. From the back, you'll be able to blow a hole in the back so you can hinder it a bit. However, you won't be disabling any parts that much on the Landship, as the only parts that I have actually been able to take out is the 2 side guns, but they already have had to take like a beating before you can even do any damage, so don't expect to do it. Just a little unscripted moment here. To be completely honest, the Landship is just a nice, big, juicy point generator. They're not that scary, really. They're just slow, meandering along, trying to capture flags. They can barely do anything to hurt you if you're attacking them, so it's not even that big of a deal. The only thing you're going to have to worry about them is if they're running the Tank Hunter variant, because that has the Tank Cavalry in the front and AT guns in the sides. They'll take you out in one shot and do like 80 damage to the horse, so you know, just a slight in your direction is just like poof, you're gone. So really, Landships, to be completely honest, are just the easiest thing. And while we're on the Tank Hunter variant of the Landship, while it's still fresh in your heads, let's just talk about the Tank Hunter, the class, the pickup item, real quick, because they are just as deadly. They're practically deadlier than a tank, because at least a tank you can avoid. Tank hunters, they're a bit more mobile than the tanks, so you really got to watch out for them, because it is a one-shot, just like the Tank Hunter variant, because they're carrying that massive tank of air. So avoid them if you can. Like, you also may see me check my scoreboard a lot inside games, like when there's the Tank Hunter thing. It's because I'm looking for the Tank Hunter on the other team to see if they picked it up or if my team picked it up. So avoid them if you can. Most of the time people are good shots with them, and they're just going to be able to take you out one shot, and they will always be aiming for the rider. So it is integral to your survival to check the scoreboard and check where the Tank Hunter is and try and find out. Always be paying attention to where they are, because it is important for your survival. Warning: this next segment contains extreme battlefield player salt. That out of the way, we come to our final tank, if you can even call it a tank. It's the artillery truck. Now let's get one thing straight to anyone who isn't a cavalry main and decides to choose a tank. If you drive this thing, and you choose the artillery variant, I freaking despise you, and I hope you lose everything in Battlefield, because this has been the bane of my entire cavalry existence. Well, why's that, Taco? I don't think there's that much wrong with the artillery truck. How bad can it be? How bad can it be? How bad can it be? I'll tell you why. First off, the thing's got a giant artillery gun that can turn in any direction, and it turns significantly faster than the light tank's turret, which makes it much harder to dodge its fire. It also doesn't matter what it hits, whether it's your horse or you, no matter what, you will always die if it shoots you. If it somehow notices you, pray to the meme lords above, because at that point, they're the only ones who are going to be able to save you then. Oh, what else is OP about them? They can keep up with your horse. That's right. A tank can keep up with your horse. The artillery truck will be able to tail you, if not pass you and your horse when it comes to speed. So if it's chasing you, you're dead. It's like an endless cycle of pain, and they never go away. You attack, you're dead. If you run away, you're dead. There is no escape from the demon tank. Artillery trucks are like herpes. You can kill them and get rid of them for a while, but they will just keep coming back. But anyway, eventually you're going to come to blows with them. So whenever you know there's one of these abominations running around on the battlefield, just avoid him. Just avoid them at all costs. You can either wait until they're occupied with something else, and then you can avenge me and all of my fallen horses who died making this video. However, if they aren't running the artillery variant, they are easy as pie. They are not bad or broken or anything at all. They're probably the easiest tanks to kill. But that's all I have to say about them. Anyway, this concludes my guide on how to be the best cavalryman you can be in Battlefield 1. After this video is released, I'm going to be taking a break from Battlefield as I've grown a bit bored with it since I've been playing it for a bit, trying to get footage for this. But anyway, for now, I'm thinking we're going to do some Titanfall 2 videos since I really do like that game. So if you like them, stick around. I want to thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And bye for now.